Music, there's something strange about life. To the people who care the most, who try the hardest, who love the deepest, it gives its hardest lessons. And yet, those same people often feel the most broken, the most lost, the most unfocused. You might have been told, stay focused, be wise, be strong, as if those are switches you can simply flip on. But we both know it's not that easy. Strength isn't built in moments of comfort. Wisdom doesn't come from just reading quotes. And focus isn't something you magically wake up with. Here is the truth. Life will disappoint you, betray you, test you, and confuse you. But in that pain, in that chaos, that's where you're shaped. The great Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, once wrote in his journal, "Over your mind, you have power, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. For him, this wasn't just a motivational quote. It was a mental sword, a weapon he carried through pressure, loss, betrayals, and war. Because while the outside world tried to shake him, the war that mattered most was inside. And that is exactly what this video is about. You will be focused. You will be wise. You will be strong, not by copying others, not by pretending to be perfect, but by becoming more of yourself, by learning what life was trying to teach you when you were going through hell. You don't need to fake strength. The pain you already have. You just need to transform it. This transformation isn't loud. It doesn't happen when people are watching. It happens in silence. When you're alone with your thoughts. When you choose discipline over distraction. When you look in the mirror, not to judge yourself, but to rebuild yourself. Maybe you feel weak right now. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you're tired of starting over. But listen closely. This is not the end. This is the moment where everything can begin again, if you learn, if you listen, if you choose to change. Strength is not shouting. It's silence under control. Wisdom is not having all the answers. It's knowing when to ask better questions. Focus is not locking yourself away. It's filtering what really matters and cutting off what doesn't. This video will walk you through 6 powerful lessons, inspired by the reflections and writings of Marcus Aurelius, but more importantly, shaped by your reality. Each lesson is about taking frustration, confusion, and pain and forging something unbreakable out of it. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. You'll see how silence can become your power, how mistakes can become your teachers, how discipline can become your comfort, and how emotional pain can become your guide. So don't skip any parts of this video. Every point is a step on your journey toward becoming focused, wise, and strong. And before we dive in, like the video, comment your thoughts at each stage, and share this with someone who's fighting their battles silently. Subscribe to the channel if you believe in becoming better every day. Not just when life is easy, but especially when it's hard. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I will be focused. I will be wise. I will be strong. Now, let's begin. Number 1, your pain is not a curse. It's your invitation to power. There's a moment in everyone's life when they ask, why is this happening to me? Maybe you've been there, a breakup that shattered you, a betrayal that felt like a knife in your back, a failure that made you feel worthless. And in that moment, everything in you screams, this is unfair. But what if pain is not your punishment but your pathway? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Let that sink in. What you think is blocking you is actually building you. Pain is one of the few things that strips away all the noise. It shows you where you've been avoiding responsibility. It shows you who's fake in your life. And it reveals the strength you didn't know you had. Most people avoid pain at all costs, but Stoicism teaches something different. It tells us to walk into it with purpose. Because here's what pain does. It humbles your ego. It sharpens your awareness. It teaches you what truly matters. You become stronger not by escaping pain, but by understanding it. Pain forces you to stop pretending. It wakes you up. You suddenly realize that things you once thought mattered, status, attention, praise, mean nothing. What matters is peace. And peace doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you overcome. Think about it. When were you the most honest with yourself? When did you stop lying to others and face your reality? It wasn't in comfort. It was in crisis. That's not weakness. That's a gift. The world wants you to believe that pain breaks you. But the truth is, it reveals the unbreakable parts of you. So next time you're hurting, don't just ask why me. Ask what is this teaching me? Let it be the fire that refines you, not the weight that destroys you. Let it push you to grow. Let it remind you that your deepest scars can become your strongest weapons if you choose to rise. You are not broken. You are being forged. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments: my pain is my power. Number 2, silence is not weakness, it's strategy. We live in a loud world. Everyone's posting. Everyone's talking. Everyone's trying to prove something. But in all this noise, the people with real power say less. They observe more. They listen. And they move with intention. You might feel like you need to justify your silence, explain yourself to people, defend your choices, but listen to Marcus Aurelius: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop explaining, start becoming. The truth is, most people don't really want to understand you. They just want to confirm their own opinions. When you're silent, you're not hiding. You're conserving energy. You're watching patterns. You're mastering control because silence gives you space. Space to grow, to think, to feel. A focused mind doesn't chase every distraction. A wise heart doesn't react to every insult. And a strong soul doesn't announce every move. You know who's in control: the person who doesn't feel the need to prove it. When you stay silent, you stop feeding toxic people. You stop giving away your energy to the wrong places. You create mystery. And mystery builds power. There's a reason lions don't roar all day. They don't need to. They're feared for what they can do, not what they say. That's you now. Every time you choose patience over reaction, silence over drama, you're building an inner fortress. You're not suppressing your emotions. You're refining them. And that kind of control, that's rare. That's strength. Don't confuse silence with weakness. Weakness is being loud with no purpose. Strength is being quiet with clarity. Even in relationships, silence is power. You don't need to chase someone to prove your worth. Your absence will say everything. If they truly valued you, they'd notice the silence more than your words. And if they don't, then you just saved your energy for something better. Silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're prioritizing peace. The world pushes you to react faster, speak fast, and prove yourself constantly. But you're choosing stillness, and stillness is power. So the next time life pushes you to react or someone misunderstands you, remember your silence is not a weakness. It's your wisdom speaking without words. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments: my silence is my strategy. Number 3, focus is saying no, not yes. Most people think focus is about hustling more, staying up later, trying harder. But real focus isn't about doing everything, it's about doing less intentionally. Marcus Aurelius said, if you seek tranquility, do less. Not in the lazy sense, but in the wise sense. Do less of what distracts you, less of what drains you, less of what doesn't matter from who you're becoming. Focus isn't built by adding more tasks. It's built by subtracting noise. You can't be focused, wise, or strong if your energy is being pulled in 100 directions. The modern world is designed to scatter your mind. Comparisons, opinions, notifications, trends. Everyone's trying to rent space in your head for free. You have to take that space back. And it starts by learning the power of no. No to habits that keep you stuck. No to people who drain you. No to distractions disguised as opportunities. Every time you say no to something unimportant, you're saying yes to something powerful. Marcus in his journals show one thing: clarity. He kept asking, what is essential? That's the question you need to ask yourself every single day. What is essential for your vision, for your peace, for your growth? You don't. That's what burns people out. They spread themselves thin trying to be everything to everyone and end up being nothing to themselves. Focus is fierce. It's ruthless. It cuts through comfort and demands discipline. But here's the good news. Every time you choose focus, you feel more you, more in control, more alive. Try this. Start your day by identifying the 3 things that actually matter today. Not 10, just 3. Then protect those 3 things with everything you've got. That's focus. That's growth. And if someone doesn't understand your focus, that's fine. They're not supposed to. It's not their journey, it's yours. You don't need to explain your discipline to people who are addicted to distraction. You just need to keep building because the more focused you are, the less approval you'll need. And that right there is freedom. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My focus is my freedom. Music. Number 4. Wisdom begins when you question your own ego. There's a strange illusion we all fall into, thinking we already know. I know what's best. I know who's wrong. I know what I'm doing. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I do or think is not right, I will happily change. For I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. That's wisdom, not arrogance, not stubbornness, but humility. The kind that grows, the kind that listens. If you want to be wise, you must learn to doubt yourself intelligently. Not in a way that paralyzes you, but in a way that frees you from illusion. The ego loves certainty. It wants to be admired even when it's not earned. It wants to be right even when it's wrong. It wants to win even when the battle destroys you inside. But true wisdom isn't found in ego. It's found in letting go of needing to be the smartest person in the room and instead being the most teachable. You grow the most when you ask better questions instead of making louder statements, admit you were wrong, apologize first. You can't learn if your pride is louder than your curiosity. You can't evolve if you keep defending outdated beliefs. Wisdom often sounds like this: what if I'm the one who needs to grow here? Maybe I don't know yet. Let me think more before reacting. That mindset, that's how you rise above the average. Because most people stay stuck not because they're stupid, but because they're stubborn. They mistake ego for confidence. They confuse defensiveness for strength. But Marcus didn't live that way. He ruled an empire, but still wrote to himself like a student. You can be humble and powerful, strong and still open. Sure of your path, but willing to admit when you've taken a wrong turn. Wisdom is a quiet teacher. It whispers. You have to silence your pride to hear it. And the moment you do, life starts to shift. You start noticing patterns in people. You stop blaming and start learning. You stop reacting and start responding. You don't need to always be right. You don't need to win every argument. You just need to be honest with yourself first. So from today, every time your ego flares up and tells you don't back down or defend yourself, pause. Ask yourself, is this just feeding my pride or helping me grow? If you want wisdom, you must make space for it. And that space opens up when ego steps aside. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments: I choose growth over ego. Number 5. Emotional control is the foundation of all power. Imagine this. Someone lies about you, disrespects you, insults you, and you feel that fire rise inside your chest. The urge to clap back, the tension, the heat. Now, pause. What you do next will decide everything. Will you respond or will you react? Marcus Aurelius said, you don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. He didn't mean you shouldn't feel emotions. He meant you don't need to be controlled by them. Emotional control isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. It's the ability to remain centered and stand in chaos. To feel your emotions, then choose your reaction instead of letting your emotions choose it for you. Here's the truth. Anyone can argue. Anyone can throw a tantrum. Anyone can scream. But it takes real strength to sit in silence, to observe your feelings without obeying them. You are not your anxiety. You are not your sadness. You are not your anger. You are the observer of these emotions. And when you remember that, you reclaim your power. Emotional control looks like this: taking a walk instead of picking a fight. Not texting back when you're heated. Saying, "Let me think about this," instead of attacking. It's not weakness. It's war strategy. Most people are emotional slaves. They let others press their buttons. They overreact, then regret it. And the worst part, they call it being real. But being real isn't losing control. It's mastering it. Think of a calm person in a storm. Are they weak or are they powerful in ways no one can see? Life will test you. People will push you. But your calmness, that's your weapon. It unsettles people who can't control themselves. It earns you respect without saying a word. And here's the deeper truth. When you control your emotions, you also gain clarity. You see things as they are. You make better decisions. You stop living in reaction mode and start creating your life with intention. So next time you feel that storm rise, breathe. Watch it. Don't chase it. You don't have to become the emotion. You can simply feel it and let it pass. That's real power, and it's rare. Be the rare one. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments: my emotions don't control me. I control them. Number 6, discipline will save you when motivation fails. Let's be honest, there are days when you don't feel like doing anything. You're frustrated, you're tired, you feel like nothing's working. And in those moments, motivation disappears. This is where most people give up. But not you, because you're about to understand one of the most powerful truths of Stoic wisdom. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." This wasn't just poetic advice. It was war training for the soul. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. It's unreliable. But discipline is a decision. It's the quiet voice that says, "Get up anyway." You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You do it because it's necessary. You don't protect your peace, control your mind, or train your body only when you feel like it. You do it because your future self depends on it. Discipline means showing up when no one's watching. When there are no praise, no likes, no energy, just you, your why, and your standards. You want to be strong, be disciplined. You want to be wise, be consistent. You want to be focused. Create habits, not just hopes. Because discipline turns chaos into order. It builds structure around your purpose. And most importantly, it creates trust with yourself. That's right. When you show up for yourself again and again, even when it's hard, you start to believe in your own strength. Not the fake kind that shows off, but the quiet kind that carries weight without complaint. Discipline doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It doesn't mean burnout. It means being devoted to your growth, especially when you're tired, even when you're tired. There will be mornings you don't want to rise. Nights when everything feels like too much. But if you get up and take one step, just one, you've already won. Start with the smallest commitment: one toxic habit avoided, 10 minutes of focus, one honest conversation with yourself. Stack those days. Over time, they build an unshakable you. People chase motivation because it feels exciting. But the ones who win in life are those who chase discipline because it's reliable. When Marcus faced grief, betrayal, and war, he didn't wait to feel inspired. He ruled, he reflected, he wrote with discipline, because discipline is how you lead yourself first. So, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start acting with purpose. Your future self is watching. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments: discipline is my superpower. Now you've heard the truth. Not empty hype, not soft motivation, but real battle-tested wisdom. You will be focused. You will be wise. You will be strong. Not because you were born that way, but because you are choosing it moment by moment. Marcus Aurelius never lived in easy times. He was betrayed. He lost children. He ruled during a deadly plague. And yet he kept reminding himself, kept showing up, kept writing, "You have power over your mind." You do, too. Maybe people have abandoned you. Maybe life has hurt you. Maybe you failed more times than you can count. But every scar on your soul can become part of your armor if you refuse to stay broken. Let today be the day. You stop reacting to noise. Stop chasing approval. Start building yourself in silence. Focus isn't dramatic. Strength isn't loud. Wisdom isn't flashy. They're earned, disciplined, quiet. And now they belong to you. Your silence has value. Your pain has meaning. Your discipline has direction. You've already walked through fire. Now walk with purpose. Because the world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs someone real, someone focused, wise, and strong enough to rise through the storms without losing themselves. That person, that's you. And if this video meant something to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video. Share it with someone who's fighting battles silently you may never see. Comment your favorite lesson. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to live a life of true power, stoic, real, and quiet. I want you to drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am becoming more focused, wiser, and stronger every single day. Stay silent, stay grounded, stay powerful, and remember, you are not behind in life.